vote.
Let's call the meeting to order,
need a
please,
gavel.
with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carla, if you do the roll.
Robert Mueller.
Here.
Gina Kreitler.
Here.
Jan Braun.
Here.
Beth Caldwell.
Here.
Stephanie Grumminger. Kelly Fowler. Laura Oliver. Michael Hankins.
Here.
Kathleen Walsh.
Here.
Tom Couch. We have a quorum.
Well, I think officially, Beth, you've been assigned.
Tom is no longer.
Okay.
Beth has been appointed as the Board of Aldermen representative.
Don't quite say it that way.
Board of
He's
Aldermen.
Tom is no longer. I'm trying not to speak with my mouth full, but
He's not on this board anymore, but he's
Excuse
still
me.
around.
Yeah.
yes. Sorry, I should clarify for all those watching, right?
I think you had the agenda before you. The only thing I wanted to add to that was I had a note from Stephanie Grumminger that she's going to resign from this commission or committee council, and I want to talk about that a little bit when we get into new business for replacement, the possibles.
Then I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Second, Mike. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Approval of minutes of the previous meeting. It says March 21st because we did not have a quorum last meeting, but we did, get updates on things. I think the fact that we don't have a quorum means that we can't pass any resolutions. I think we can still have a meeting and probably generate minutes from that meeting. But is that?
Sure.
I don't anticipate any resolutions. Well, you're going to talk about elections, but that would be for the June meeting, right?
Right. No, I was thinking about for the last.
We have a quorum
issue
today.
any minutes for the last month's meeting when we talked about things. We didn't take any votes on anything.
I mean, I can go through
And just put for the record kind of thing.
A
But you-
discussion, kind of a record.
Yeah. Sort of like we've had a work session. So we have the minutes attached to in your packet there, and when everyone's ready, to entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussions, changes? None? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is citizens to be heard.
I'm going to take this opportunity to be heard, even though I know I relinquished my citizenship years ago. This weekend we have the garden walk, we've got the Rooted In Progressive Dinner, we've got a Rotary golf tournament, and somebody said to me, don't those groups talk to each other? I can't do each of those things because they conflict. So I'm just passing citizens' comments on that appears, at least in the citizens' mind, to be a lack of coordination.
Well, just comment that we tried this year something new to get events on the calendar, the Visit St. John calendar, so that organizations can see what else is going on those weekends and dates and plan accordingly, because we got most of those on by the end of the year.
The other perspective is that having a garden walk and a Route event at the same time might be complementary,
Yeah.
with a certain synergy.
Well, I think it is, we'd like to fill up every weekend with something to do, and I think it would be good if, as we get more of these organizations to feed information into us, we can talk to them about talk to them about that.
You might actually consider it strategic that the Rotary Golf Tournament is on the same weekend as the Garden Walk. Just guessing.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just saying that you probably have two different demographics there. Yes.
Yes, you do have two different demographics, and I think Martin's point is well taken, because it wouldn't occur to the Rotary membership or the members of the tournament committee to contact the Visit St. Gen website or you or the Welcome Center. They're the Rotary Club of St. Genevieve, they're here, they're doing stuff. So that, I think we have to go both ways with that and reach out to these organizations that do have events. I was at a meeting last night. There were 7 people. Guess why? Everybody went to Bank of Bloomsdale with the free bratwurst event, okay? Talk about bad planning. That was just another example of it. But we can't expect everybody to contact us. Next year, if we know, and we know Rotary does a golf tournament every May, it's incumbent upon somebody to reach out to them and say, what day are you going to schedule that? Because you know what we're also doing, or could we do another day and coordinate more that way? I've heard those comments myself.
Well, is it possible that we have members of Rotary who are a member of this organization? I know, Jan, you're a member of Rotary, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it is that
Aren't you also?
the golf course is only available certain weekends.
Sure,
That's the
yeah.
first criteria that you have to look at, criteria.
Yeah.
I mean, there's golf tournaments every weekend.
I think there was a better effort this past year. Doesn't mean we can't do more next year. This past year of reaching out to organizations, of finding out what was going on beyond the traditional signature events.
And I have to follow up with Martin's second point that from my perspective as an innkeeper, that they are complementary. We have guests coming because of mutual events, mutually complementary events.
Probably not the Rotary Golf Club.
No, not the golf.
Right.
No.
And we have, like, one of the things that we do in a complimentary fashion is the spirit reunion. We do that on the same evening as
The Rural Heritage now. And that took years to figure that out.
Right, and but it really increased our attendance because we marketed during the day.
I think this is the best of all possible problems to be discussed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, and I guess, Kathy, to your point, we can make the information available whether they choose to avail themselves of it, or whether it would really make any difference to the Rotary, as Jan pointed out. They're going to choose the date for their golf tournament based on when that course is available. It probably doesn't really make any difference to them.
But I don't think it's ever occurred to any of these other organizations,
That there's an information source there that they can
and to
tap into.
try and coordinate if possible. Yeah, it's never been done, and so I really don't think anybody's thinking about it.
I do know that this year, for instance, and this is just one example, it came up in one of the Board of Aldermen meeting about the hospitals, or whoever does the trivia tournament in February for the second.
It's the Legion, I think.
Did it?
Well, it's held there, but it's a benefit for something health-related. But for the second year in a row, it was almost going to fall on the same night as the King's Ball.
Right.
They
Traditionally,
changed it to a different
Yeah.
night this year, which was very, forward-thinking and community-minded on their part to do that, because there you do have a lot of overlap of people who are interested in probably supporting both of those.
Well, perhaps as we go through the year here, we should kind of keep track of things that are multiple events on the same day and kind of have a discussion on those, and maybe go to those organizations before they get into their planning and say, hey, would you consider like that? Because I think the more weekends we can fill up with stuff, the better off we're going to be.
So,
Is that,
reaching out to the organizations.
I
said your piece, huh?
I just made a point, and certainly see both sides of the issue, and just wanted to get it on the table.
Well, I think if final comment is, it points to the fact that we all need to pay more attention to our own internet website. We need to get the word out there. Visit stgen.com.
Yes. For more information on local events, right?
Yeah, to stay current on local issues.
Of course, we do have some criteria, guidelines as to what goes on the tourism website.
He's not suggesting putting more, like Rotary Golf Club on our website. He's just saying.
No,
that there's
no, no.
information.
check the
Years
calendar.
ago, there was a situation, similar, conversation came up, and the bottom line comment was, well, it's posted at City Hall. And the gallery public correctly said, well, I'm not like at City Hall every day. True, but you do have web access for
Well,
events.
there are numerous ways to post free. I mean, the paper has a community calendar that you can post on. A certain event's going to be posted on ours. So I mean, there are other ones out there that you can deal with too. And I know the radio station's always been good about, if you have an upcoming event, putting the notice
Right.
on suntimes.com.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, I seem to side with you, Bob, because maybe what we should do is, instead of doing that, is to say, and post this, if you're planning an event, please coordinate with our tourism director. Don't go into anything else, because they're going to be planning an event for June back in November and December. And rightfully, you would rather that, if it conflicts, now, I have to agree that the Route to Bend and the Garden Walk do not conflict. They complement each other. But the thing about it is that you can't do that all the time, but what you could say is, if you're planning an event, whoever you are, coordinate it with our tourism director, because she knows all the events and who else is planning one. So if you're planning one for the organization that you belong to, and she's planning one, and you don't want you both to be doing it at the same time. And you need to do it way in advance. You can't be
Yes.
doing it, in March. If you are, you're not gonna have a very good event. For May,
And before you set your date, do this.
Before you set your date,
And
please
maybe we
contact
can
our
get lucky and this
tourism director.
information will be in a newspaper article about this meeting that will help get the word out.
Well, I mean,
I
in
would
some-
be happy to serve as a resource for organizations seeking information on events that are on the calendar when they're
Yeah.
contemplating their events.
Yeah, because if they're doing it early enough, they're gonna be doing it this year for next year,
Right.
hopefully.
I actually just thought of another good example that just recently happened, that Chip Marzuko and the Down syndrome fundraiser that they do in June each year, he contacted the tourism office to find out when the French Festival was going to be, so that he wouldn't conflict with that date.
Is that
So
just happened in the
he's
past?
going to be, one year they were, I think last year they were on the same day. So he's going to be the weekend before French Festival. And so that's just a good example of how that can work well.
Okay, moving on to the Director of Tourism report.
Okay, so you have the sheet with the pretty columns and colors and everything on it. This is the summary of individual visitors coming through the Welcome Center. You can see by the blue bar. Jan, did you not get one?
I don't think Mike did either.
I didn't get one of those.
Kathy, you have one?
I have one list.
Thank you.
Okay, you can see by the blue bar that March was up 72%, April was up 22%. This is a good trend. There is a kind of a breakdown of our passport sales, which started in April. In April, we sold 94 adult passports and 37 student passports. I also want to point out this year, with all the snow days that we had, all the schools, we reached out to all the schools last fall who were on the calendar to come and bring their students here. We're also diversifying the types of student groups that we're reaching out to include high school French clubs, et cetera. And so I also included for the committee a list of upcoming school groups that are coming and upcoming adult groups. You'll notice that we have 3 visits from the American Queen that are on the books right now. This is the American Queen River cruise ship that docks in Chester, and then they bring, one of the things that they can sign up for their port excursion while they're in the port of Chester is to get on a bus and come over to St. Genevieve. It would be wonderful if one day they could dock in St. Genevieve and come to visit us, and we probably would have a lot more people. But right now, we do have one bus that comes from the American Queen. And so those are on our schedule right now. I also attended a bank travel management conference about 3 weeks ago, and am reaching out to more group tour planners to, to increase our number of adult tour groups that are visiting, in addition to our student groups that we have on the books. You will notice that for the first time, June 14th is the date of the French Heritage Festival. We actually have a tour group that is bringing a bus of adults in for the French Festival this year, which is something that we haven't had in my memory. I think in the very, very beginning of the French Festival, when it was St. Louis, St. Genevieve, and Cape Girardeau, there probably was like a roving bus that accompanied it at that point. So just to keep you informed of what to watch for and what to expect. In addition to that, I included a sheet in your packet about an event that is going to be hosted by the St. Genevieve Downtown Renewal Program. The date has been set for Thursday, June 5th. This is not an alderman board meeting night, so it's an off week, if you will. And the purpose of this meeting, of course, the Downtown Renewal Group is the sponsor of many of our events that are held downtown, such as the Fourth Friday Art Walk. They also sponsor the French Heritage Festival now, and other events like the Chocolate Walk and those things. So you're familiar with their work. You may not be very familiar with the organization, but on June 5th, there's going to be a speaker invited in from the statewide organization that helps sponsor these community organizations. It's called the Missouri Main Street Connection. And so they work with small communities all over the state to help revitalize their downtowns, and they want to recognize the good things that St. Genevieve has been doing, and also provide an opportunity for more input and growth in kind of recharging this organization. There have been some new people who have become members of the board, myself included, and we're trying to kind of take it to the next level in terms of the impact that they can have on the community.
How
So
long do you anticipate that meeting will last?
I would say 2 hours would be a good guess. And Martin has it on his schedule, Mayor Greminger has it on his schedule. You'll be seeing more information about it, but I've sent it out to all of the downtown shop owners, and one of my tips from tourism. And we're also reaching out into the area. We've let the wineries know about it.
Where's it going to be held?
Yeah, where's it going to be held?
The Knights of Columbus Hall.
I don't think that's in
7
here.
p.m.?
I don't think the time's been set yet, but there'll be more information coming out in the next few weeks.
And you said it's going to be at the KC Hall?
Yes.
I
It'd
don't
be
think-
wonderful if we
I
could
don't think
fill it
that's
up.
in there.
I'm sorry?
I don't think that's in your little description.
That's true. It just says that there'll be more
Okay.
information coming.
Okay.
Yeah, Casey Hall hasn't been committed yet.
They have committed.
They have?
Yes, they committed at our meeting the other night, Monday night.
Okay.
We're on their books.
Oh, is that when you snuck out and made a phone call?
Yes.
Oh.
So, I'm sorry, did you say you've already sent out notices to people?
Just to ask them to hold that date, like I did with you. Yeah. There's going to be a flyer. I just wanted this organization to be in the know in the beginning, that this event is, going to be a good event for the community and to get some input. They break out into interest areas like promotions, economic development, design, those kinds of things. There was one of these held, Kathy, you might remember, maybe 2008, 9, something like that. Were you a part of that, Bob?
I was at that meeting.
Okay. You think it was 2008?
That's right, when they were just forming.
Right.
So it might have been a little later than that.
Okay.
There was one at the Farmer Bigfield Cafe, an organization, yeah, of an early evening. And there was a second one, and I can't remember, do you remember where
I
that?
didn't attend another one, just the one at Big Field, but we filled the Big Field.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted you to know about that, and then there's lots of other things that are going on. I can give you some of the highlights. Our advertising program has been very successful. I've reached out to the shops through and the bed and breakfast for cooperative advertising. We're in the Belleville News Democrat Summer Fun Guide that comes out, I think, in the next couple of weeks. We just had a half page of St. Genevieve branding ads and then individual ads in the Webster Kirkwood Times and the South County Times. And I was really pleased. We've worked with them on a number of smaller ads, and so by committing to a half page, they put us on the front page of that insert, which was really great. And that's a high interest area for us in terms of target demographics. We'll also have a full page ad in the June issue of Missouri Life magazine. They have a special insert about wineries and breweries across the state of Missouri, and so we'll be in that publication. There's also a number of events that I've gotten myself or my staff involved with. We were at, during National Tourism Week, we went to an event in St. Louis before a Cardinals game and handed out St. Genevieve information, and this weekend we'll be at an event in Farmington. We'll be represented there. I got a volunteer to staff the table, but there's an event in Farmington that's going to draw people from a pretty wide range, and so St. Genevieve will be represented there. There's also an event next month at Lafayette Square, the Lafayette Square Home and Garden Tour, which some of you may be familiar with. We'll have a table there. It's a 2-day event. We'll have a table there for Sunday. So I just, in terms of advertising, outreach, and then after the meeting, I brought a laptop for anyone who has not yet seen the KMOV Great Day St. Louis segment. It aired yesterday, and if you follow us on Facebook, you've already seen that we have the link posted on Facebook, so you can watch it there anytime you want. We'll also have it printed, we'll have it on our website. So you can watch that, and I have, I'll be talking about this later, but I have the iBrochure on the laptop here too. So a lot of really exciting developments. It's been a very busy spring, and getting the word out, promoting our destination, and all the great things that there are to see and do here.
For being filmed on a rainy day, that really came out good.
Yeah, we had to supplement a little bit with some sunny day pictures, but they did a great job. Yeah.
The advertising, the topic of advertising, Ruth Lynn had really good coverage in the Weeder, Jefferson County, their publication this week. Is Beth Donzie doing her round robin thing still? What she did?
Well, I'm, for the most part, handling that through the coordinated advertising with the shops and bed and breakfasts. But Bev has been at all of our meetings that we've talked about it.
Is she committed to the round
So it's
robin
not
this
dead.
year or not?
Not in that form.
It's still going
We're
on.
just doing we're doing the same thing, but
But a
not
slightly
necessarily
different way.
calling it round robin. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was that I've met with the members of what was the original sign committee that put up the black and white wayfaring signs. I was in Kimmswick last fall, and I think we talked about this at one of our earlier meetings, but looking at the types of signage that they typically have in a downtown area that show names of shops that point you in a certain direction, so that if you're in a car or even walking and you get to a certain corner and you know that there's still 6 or 8 other things to see down this particular street, or if you're on Main Street and you realize that, you know, there are 3 other shops on 3rd Street that are in this direction if you just walk 2 blocks. So I've worked with the sign committee, and Martin is looking at the regulatory issues. Bob is looking at kind of the proposed location, and Lawrence Myers is helping us with a sketch of what it would look like. And you'll be hearing more about it either, depending on the timing, either at the next meeting or by email in between if we can pull it off sooner. But we're going to see if we can do some additional directional signage and also help establish the image of the downtown, and it's called placemaking and downtown revitalization, but helping define the place and helping direct people while they are in the place. So.
And these signs are designed so you can easily change out if a business closes or one opens, that you can add to it. And we also had a conversation about marking of houses that aren't tour homes, and maybe some little description like we used to have with the little 8.5 by 11s. Does anybody remember who did those 8.5 by 11s? I was going to call Barb Bosler because I would just about bet that Lucille was involved in some of that. So I was,
Lucille and Fran Bollinger, probably.
yeah, if anybody has any info, it'll probably be Barbara. I'll give her a call. Because we did have written descriptions of a lot of places that aren't tour homes.
Of course, that was probably before computers, so who knows if the descriptions themselves still exist.
Well, I think Barb has a big collection of her mother's stuff.
Archives?
So, yeah.
So, there you go.
Maybe she'll have them.
So that's a call out, if anybody's watching and has some of these descriptions in a shoebox someplace, or has a picture of them or anything, we would like to collect those and see if we can maybe reestablish that program.
Yeah. I know there's one still existing on the Lutheran Church on the right side as you face the church. And there was one on JB Valley House, the old brick had one.
Senator Lynn House had one.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Dufour House had one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Somehow when they got
Yeah,
repainted or something.
there was a metal frame.
Frame, right.
But they didn't laminate what they put in there, so when they got wet sometimes. But today you can laminate a 8.5 by 11, and so it's in a plastic.
Yeah.
The operative word here is add.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently, the effort was made, but whatever effort you make needs to have a maintenance program.
Well, I think Fran
Stays there.
Fran Ballinger and Mrs. Donzie, Jack's mom,
No.
Yeah.
and one other person went with Lucille to do that. It was actually before my time, but I've been here 28 years. So it was probably done either prior to or maybe way before the 250.
There was actually, over the years, there's been 3 different house.
Yeah, and then they made wooden.
Wooden
Um,
ones, too.
Before that, there were the marble ones, that goes back to the 30s, I think.
Yeah,
There's just
I've never seen one of those.
There's a few of those around.
I don't remember seeing any of those.
There was one on the Lynn House for a while, until about a year ago.
Oh, that's right, yeah, yeah.
St. Genevieve. Okay, any other things?
There'll be others that come up later.
Okay. Going to old business, the Visit Mo program, submissions for this year. There was one that we had submitted, and the second one was coming due. Did that get submitted?
Now, you're talking about Visit Mo. This is about the shop listings. Visit Mo,
Oh,
not the
no.
grants.
Oh, okay.
Well, but I can tell you about the grants.
I was intending that to be the grants.
No, On the grants, I reported at the last meeting, we submitted one grant on April 1st for what's called marketing program development, the platform development. And then we submitted the second grant on May 1st, and that was for what is the revised version of the co-op grant program to support advertising. And so in that application, we asked for a total budget of $12,000. $6,000 of that would be requested from the state. So we're supposed to hear about that sometime in June.
There was a third one that they still haven't gotten the criteria out on?
Well, and as it turned out, the third one had no funding available. It was just you are eligible to participate in advertising expenses at a lower rate. So we can tap into, and there are a couple of them that I'm looking at, the possibility of tapping into those in FY15. That's the state's FY15.
Okay. So this Visit Mo program submission, I guess that's the advertising in the Visit Mo Journal, and you have to be in there online by June the 6th to be considered in next year's.
Yes. Yes, and it's very important, even if you have an existing listing, to go and log in and review and repost your listing, because they're not just taking everything automatically because it was posted last year. It is free, but you have to log in and you have to repost it, so. And that's by June 6th. If anyone needs any help with that, or they're unsure for any reason, just contact the Welcome Center, and if it's Monday through Friday, myself or Megan should be able to help you with that.
Okay.
Before you go on, I know, Bob, this has been a passion of yours for a long time, but and myself and a lot of us take part in this process. But I think that a lot more people should be taking part, and I think the reason they don't is because they don't know what we're talking about. They haven't seen it. Irrespective of the web listing, I'm talking about the printed version. I think if we...
Well, not everybody that's on the electronic version gets on the printed version. They have certain categories that they put on.
Well, true.
I mean,
Lodging.
a shop like...
Lodging
some
and
shops-
restaurants, right?
Yeah, and campgrounds and historic sites, but there's some that just, it has to be like a specialty shop, I think, to get into that, like an antique mall or a specialty thing. But it's still, people are looking at that, because I know I'm getting calls, but it's only from a posting from there.
Yeah.
But we do have copies of that
Oh, yes.
magazine that we can take with us when we talk to people.
Right, that's my point. It's
Yeah.
just showing that printed version.
Do we want members of the advisory
Well, I
council
think
to?
everybody kind of had an assigned
Yes,
group of persons that they were going to talk to.
or post for them.
Yeah.
So I have extra copies of that book down at the Welcome Center. I know everyone here got
Me
a copy
too.
at a previous meeting, but if you want an extra copy to take with you, by all means,
I
you're
have
welcome.
copies too,
Yeah.
if they need them.
Oh, you have them too?
I think we did a good job of getting an increased number, and we're well represented on that, but I think we can even be better.
Well, I actually have had calls from other communities saying, how do you get so many people listed? I said, well, it's really a grassroots effort to get those people listed. So people actually look to us because of our success. And as Jan pointed out, I know a lot of that is due to Bob's diligence in that regard. But yeah, so I expect some competition, because I think they're going to try to figure out how we did it.
I love free.
Namely, this is
advertising.
Perryville and Farmington. So,
Okay, open dates for Saturdays in St. John, which is going to be, this weekend is the first one.
we start out, yes, I have a printout in your packet there. We are starting out this weekend in conjunction with the Garden Walk. We have costume colonials strolling around the downtown. Bob and Linda Mueller and Jim and Mary Beth Ferguson, and you can kind of see the names of people who have volunteered on various dates, and because this weekend is, a busy 2-day event, and because we had volunteers willing to do it, we actually have Saturday and Sunday. The same thing with June 7th and 8th. We have on that weekend, it's the rendezvous at Fort Deschartres, so we're expecting more people over here. We want to be sure that they see something when they're here in St. Genevieve. So you can see the dates of what's lined up. If you have an interest in dressing up as a costume colonial and walking around, being a little ambassador for St. Genevieve, and you would like to sign up for one of these open dates, this is just the beginning of the program. We'll be looking for more people as we move forward. And basically, it's from 10:30 to noon, and, 10:30 to 12:30. And you would start at the Welcome Center, just in case there's any special events or anything that you, want to be aware of that day. And we have a little cheat sheet in case someone asks you a tough question, like, and so when was the Felix Valley house built? So we have some cheat sheets for you. We'll give you some St. Genevieve brochures, and then really it's just greeting people, popping into the shop, saying hello, and having your picture taken with people with smartphones so that they can post it on their social media. We have a little slip of paper for people to hand out saying, here's the Facebook page for Visit St. Gen, so that we'll get a little buzz going on social media. That's kind of the idea behind it. It's twofold, really, to have things that people can see and observe. If they have stayed the night in a bed and breakfast and they get out after breakfast and they're kind of walking around, so that there's something French colonial about downtown St. Genevieve.
Where is the entertainment going to be?
It just depends. This one on Saturday, we're going to set him up down at the little, what's the word for it, arbor, down at the corner of Merchant and Main. Pergola, okay. And then sometimes if it's depending on what it is, I might put him in the courtyard of the Welcome Center or down on Merchant and Main at that pergola. So, and by the way, the storyteller, the fiddlers, and the weaver that you see, those are all through the Missouri Folk Arts Program. And it's at no cost to us because they have a grant program to encourage the renewal of traditional folk arts. This is the group that has met in St. Genevieve twice now. We hosted them once at the Welcome Center. And so we've gotten to know these program directors from the University of Missouri-Columbia. And when I was trying to put this together, and in addition to just people strolling around, I was trying to come up with, musicians and demonstrations and so on. I contacted them and they were very helpful. And so until such a time as we can actually apply for grants for live music, which I think the next round for the municipal band grants, Pam told me, is in July. So I'll be applying for money for that. But up until that point, we've got, kind of some bonus activity going on here.
I believe the application for the media band grant would be due July 1st.
Oh, perfect.
That's going to be the next date, I think.
Perfect. So that's Saturdays in St. Genevieve. The Discover America video, this is kind of a leftover from our last meeting that was a work session. On April 17th, we had the video crew here. It was pretty much an all-day thing. Mike was gracious enough to have them stay at the Southern Hotel, and they got some great footage of our B&Bs, our shops. They went out to the wine country. They even went up to the river and took some footage up there. This is part of that program that we bought into with it was 50% funded by the state and 50% by our Tourism Tax Commission dollars. And so this will give us a professionally made video, and we had to choose a foreign language because it's part of branding USA outside the USA. So of course we chose French, and we'll have the whole thing in English as well. So I haven't seen the, the first cut of that yet, but I'm looking forward to it very much.
Got a recent update from Sharon Miles, the National Park Service project coordinator for the NPS study. Just read what she said, what's in process. The NPS study team made a presentation to the regional director in April and received the go-ahead to have the draft study document edited and formatted for public review. The document should be in camera-ready condition and ready to be sent to Washington for clearance to print the draft public document by mid-June. We are cautiously optimistic that the document will be available for public review and comment this autumn. It kind of keeps moving back. Upcoming, the major task remaining after the publication of this is the selection of the most efficient and effective alternative. It's one of the 4 parts that they have to a study. This process will take place after the public review and will be based partly on the public input. After that, the final steps are presentation of the most efficient and effective to an approval by the regional director, drafting the final study report, more reviews, revisions as needed, and ultimately transmittal of the study findings and recommendations to Congress. No date was proposed on that, but we're also trying to get our elected officials to kind of weigh in a little bit on this, see if we can get this moved along.
At least one of them.
At least one of them. It's just, I kind of did a review of all the updates that we received in the last 2 years since our meeting that we had that one day, and it's a lot of delays. But it still is encouraging that they had a positive finding, at least that's what we've been told. And so I think according to an article that was in the Herald a month or so ago, the smallest national park site in Missouri had 30,000 visitors. So, I mean, that could make a significant impact on what we're trying to do here, having that as an addition to all the other things that we've got going on.
Absolutely.
Any other old business? New business, upcoming events for June?
I already figured out I need to add the Spring for Down Syndrome event. And I think for the Summer Music Festival, I'll go ahead and put Fridays in June and July so people know that it is
Was there?
both months. Is there anything else? Okay, then I'll do that and email it out in the next couple days.
Dina, how are sales going for?
They're going actually really well. Yesterday, I probably sold about 75 tickets, and most of them were online. Kind of just to note, for the Bob Cuban show, which is almost sold out, we have a class reunion coming from Illinois to that show. I think it's like 37 people. It's kind of nice that they're hearing about us over there too. So
Young people, I'm sure.
I'm sure, I'm sure. Actually, I think
Still young at mine. I remember listening to those guys at CYO dances and on the Admiral.
And I don't remember who told me, but Bob Cuban played at their senior prom. So they're coming. So it's interesting. Johnny Cash is our first kickoff, and I think I might have maybe 25 tickets left for him. But a lot of out-of-town sales, which is great. I think our online sales this year is up by 30%, so. that's
Dina,
good.
do you send like an electronic confirmation out to them?
Yes, once they pay through PayPal, it automatically generates a confirmation to them and to me. So we both get the same confirmation. So if they want their tickets delivered to them by certified mail, then I get that confirmation and I send it to them. If not, most of them are will call. They'll just pick them up at the door, but I do keep all of those.
On the PayPal confirmation, do you have the ability to give input on the the text, like could you put if you need to spend the night in St. Genevieve, here's a link to our website, or?
I'm not sure, I'd have to ask Chuck, because he set that up for us, but I could ask him.
Or if you have the emails of the people that have bought tickets from out of town, you could just send them a link to say.
I have emails, and I actually keep, I have like a database of those, and so I send them out reminders, like, looking forward to seeing you, for the Johnny
Oh,
Cash show.
perfect.
Yeah,
So,
you could put if you need lodging or anything, check out Visit Moda, or Visit
Come
St.
early
Jen
to go to a restaurant or spend the night.
and most of them have already contacted us about
Sure.
where can they go to dinner, if they're wanting to stay. A couple of, people are staying overnight, but
I would think that group from Illinois, are they taking a bus over here?
I think they might just be from Chester. Chester and Sparta is that area, I believe. I'd have to look that up when I got back, but I have another group coming from Paducah. And actually, a group of 4 staying at your place just contacted me about Kim Massey tickets. So they called and said, I'm staying at Jan's place, and here's what we want to do. And he told us about summer music series, so
Great.
I want to buy tickets. And I said, okay, great. So, yeah. And a lot of them, we've had a couple of those B&Bs call and say, I'm staying at this bed and breakfast, I'd like to have tickets, and so it's working out really well. Our sponsors increased this year too. We have 3 new sponsors, so that it's just shaping up to be a really great 6th season, and I'm pretty excited about it.
It's hard to believe it's the 6th season.
I know, it doesn't seem like it is, but it is, and
Yeah.
we have a couple new, we have Jerry Huggins, he's going to be one of our pre-shows, he's a saxophonist, and that was a connection through Eric Bennett that we were able to get, so hopefully, I'm sure he will not disappoint, but it's interesting because people are calling us to be our pre-shows, and people are calling us to be our main show too, so.
The pre-shows, are those gratis? I mean, the people doing those are getting paid?
They are doing those for
I
us,
guess the
just.
fear is, how can we advertise them
Yeah,
a little bit?
we do. Now that we have our Facebook page and stuff up and going, we'll be able to tag. I tagged our poster yesterday, and I think this morning it was like 500 views already on it, so that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, if there's contact information for their venue
Sure.
or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it would be,
Yeah, that would be.
give them a little advertising for what they're doing.
Yeah. So I'm excited. The only Saturday event that we have is the Elvis, and he's the last Saturday of July. So we'll see.
And that's a 2-night show.
It's a 2-night show. They will be
Because it's
staying.
Elvis.
Yeah, it is.
And, I can assume you're working on 4th of July.
We are working on 4th of July. It's a slow go, but we're working
And
on it.
maybe could you give us an update in
Um,
the June meeting?
Yeah, sure. I should have more information by then. No one's ever thinks about 4th of July until like June, and when they're like, oh, it's only April, and I'm already getting 4th of July stuff, I'm like, it's April. I mean, it's in July, so.
Okay. I think you reported on tourism
I
signage.
covered that, I forgot, I didn't realize we had it.
The June meeting is officially our annual meeting. By bylaws, we have to have an annual meeting, and so next month is that. We also have to elect a chairman and vice chairman at that meeting. And if anyone is interested in either of those positions, please let me know. You can always pass things around. But that will have to go on to the agenda for next month.
Would
The other
that be
thing,
an evening meeting or a daytime?
no, I think the August meeting will probably be the evening meeting,
Okay.
because we won't get the hotel motel tax stuff in until the end of July. Because they have a month to pay that.
Okay.
So I would propose the August meeting be in the evening. I received a note from Steph Grimminger that she, due to the press of business, is going to have to resign from the committee. We actually have 3 openings right now, with Beth being appointed as, from the Aldermanic Council as the representative, her position, which was a downtown restaurant tour position, is open. I've had 1 volunteer on that. But Stephanie was representing a marketing type person. We actually have always had an opening, a second opening in the marketing type positions. I asked, some of the councils and commissions have restrictions on them that the person has to live within the city of St. Genevieve. Our particular council does not have that restriction. So if you have any suggestions on possible people that are in the marketing kind of arena that we could add to our council here, I'd like to hear those. They all have to be approved by the Board of Aldermen. And we're pleased that Beth has agreed to be the aldermanic representative. I think she brings a lot of history and passion to it, so thanks for staying on
Should we
the board.
speak to these people before we promote their names?
Pardon?
I said, should you check with the person before?
Oh, yes, yeah,
Because I've got like 3 names I want to spit out.
yeah.
Haven't asked them, so.
Yeah, no, part of it is they have to be interested in it. We have monthly meetings on Friday, 9:30. We also have 1 meeting a year in the evening.
And so you need a restaurant person and a marketing
Yeah, I have
person?
one, already been suggested, 1 person for the restaurant person. But I need, we really need some from the marketing experience.
I sent you an email. about
Yeah, I
that.
saw this.
Okay.
Talking about, I'm looking, if anyone else has contact with people that
Sure.
are in that business. Okay, anything from print media? I think everything's going hunky-dory on that. Electronic media, the iBrochure.
So we're going to take a look at that after the meeting. I have it here.
Or you have, is it in final version? Or?
It is in final version. yeah.
Okay, so now if we call up on an iPhone?
Actually, they have to work out the script that recognizes and redirects, the redirect script. That's something that the media IT people they're in touch with Chuck to do
Okay.
that. So that's just the next thing.
Okay. Nothing from tourism development this month. Resource, I guess since we didn't, we were talking about the affiliate welcome center thing. It was, I know the Tourism Tax Commission said they would support it, but at a certain dollar level, they would support it. We'll have to find how to raise the rest of it, if I remember our conversation correctly on that. So.
Yes, and the idea was the grant submission, right? You
Yeah.
do the grant thing with Mike.
Well, we talked, I don't know, I guess we'll have to do the grant submission to.
I thought Mike, I don't know who's working on the grant submission. No one asked me to do it, so.
We're going to ask you to do it.
Oh. Okay.
Well, you're better prepared to do it than any of
Okay.
us that are on the tax commission. But the problem is, how much do we ask for? And do we, and you have to buy 2 signs if you want to have it going both ways, which is a lot more money.
I think you put out the numbers as to what it
Yeah.
would be. This should be in our minutes from the tax commission meeting.
Yeah, I don't have that here with me. But
Okay, well, we can get together. I'd be happy to.
yeah, I
Take
think,
that.
I think the cost in one direction was about 5,000, was that it?
I think the total that we were going for was 12,000.
12,000,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
With the both directions and the
Wait, signs, or they had another name for it.
Trailblazer.
Trailblazers.
Yeah.
yeah. And there was some discussion about that because when you got off the highway, I think it was $1,100 for the Trailblazer, that if you're gonna do both directions, you need one going south that says, go this way. You need one going north that says, go this way. But then we said, okay, somewhere near, let's say, the community center or somewhere in that, just straight ahead, we need a second one. I guess it would be a third one, because you'd have one on each one. So that's why it was up to about 12,000.
If we add one more Trailblazer, it might even be a little bit higher than that, but we
Yeah.
can work all that out.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's,
What would the grant be from the state? What would they, I mean, you can't get a grant from the state, but from whoever else we would get a grant from.
I think we were thinking of maybe the community foundation.
Community foundation,
Thinking
yeah.
about developing one of those kind of grants.
right. To maybe do a match.
A match
for-
with some out of the
Right.
tourism tax commission.
Right. So maybe the three of us should get together and talk about
Okay.
that, work it out.
One other thing on signage, at a previous meeting, it was requested that a sign be put up down on Main, near Main and Washington, or a little past about the ferry, and I know Sandra talked about it the other day, and you're getting that done.
Yes, I have a source for it, and we have a sign now too, so,
And it's just gonna go on an existing post,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it'll just say ferry and.
1.6 miles, we had to measure the distance, I think it's 1.6.
Okay. Is there any other business, council? Yes.
I just want to point out that if any of your prospective businesses want posters for the summer music series, I have them in my office, and so just let me know and I can drop them by, or you can swing by, whatever works better for you. Hopefully it's not raining today, so I might have an opportunity to get out today and drop some of those off. But they're either 8.5 by 11 size, or I do have 11 by 17. So it's whatever you'd like. So
Anything, do you have a firm date for social media training?
we're waiting on a confirmation from the school district for June 4th. I know that with the school session being out on the 28th, they were going to tear down their computer lab right away. But we're hoping that they might push that off until June 4th for us to do our social media training. The chamber has taken, I guess basically just putting it on our agenda for the year to host quarterly seminars for our members. And it will be a free of charge seminar, and the first one will be social media. We want to do something like tax preparation at the beginning of the year, before April, an Excel class, just a couple of different things that we think that our businesses might generate some interest from, and also just help them in any area that maybe they're needing some assistance. So June 4th is what we're proposing, but I don't want to make that a confirmed date yet until I hear from the school district, which is supposed to be by the end of the day today. So I'm sure I'll be glad broadcasting it out.
Okay, good. Anything else? Let's have a great garden walk weekend, root the vine. And if you see funny characters walking around, just say hi.
Motion to
Congratulate
adjourn.
Linda on being in costume. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Jan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So if anyone wants to see.
Channel 7 and 98 TV and web broadcasting are made possible through contributions and donations from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.